Clashes around the encounter site at the Anantnag encounter. In fact, the locals came out to protest. Some people reportedly injured. One woman was killed earlier in the crossfiring. So once again, Pakistan-backed stone pelters are now, in fact, interrupting the anti-terror operation that is going on in Anantnag. Remember, security forces believe that a Lashkar commander is holed up. Lashkar, in fact, is holed up. He is responsible for killing SHO Feroz Dar and 5 other policemen just just a month back. And now let me go across. Okay, in fact, we'll be joined by my colleague Shujaul Thakur for more on this very shortly. These are the visuals of that site where, in fact, the encounter is happening. So, security forces being rushed in there, chopper also being utilized there by the security forces to keep an eye on what is going on and whether this terrorist tries to slip out. There has been a cordon in the village in Anantnag where about 3 to 4 terrorists are believed to be holding up. This is Lashkar-e-Taiba Commander Bashir Lashkar, the man who is supposed to be responsible for the killing of Feroz Dar, the SHO, and along with him 5 people. Brutal ambush that was, in which before fleeing with the weapons of the security forces, these terrorists mutilated their bodies as well. What we are getting to know is that on a specific tip-off, the security forces cordoned off a village in Anantnag district and started the operation in which this Lashkar commander along with 3 other terrorists is believed to be holed up. Now, locals once again trying to interrupt the security operations there. One woman earlier was killed in the crossfire between the terrorists and the security forces. And now stone pelting is being reported from the area. Let me now go across to my colleague Shujaul Thakur, who is joining us live for more on this. Shuja, the same tactics being utilized once again. Locals coming out, trying to interrupt, trying to hamper the security operations there. What is the situation on the ground as we speak?
Well, Ankit, like we've been reporting since morning, after the encounter took place, there were a lot of people who started coming near the encounter site protesting. In fact, even as we speak, there are reports of protests and clashes coming in from various, points around the encounter site. The development that we are getting to hear is that intense gunfight is being reported from the target house, and it is been responded back as well. Now there were initially reports of some civilians being inside the house, but the police has now said that they've been evacuated and the operations are in full swing. Let's remember, of late what we have seen is a trend that after the encounters are announced or start taking place, there are people who gather around the encounter sites and start protesting with a view of disrupting the encounter, the process of the encounter. This happens more so when there are local militants involved in the encounter. In this particular case also, we are getting to know that because there are local militants inside, a lot of people are gathering around. One of the reports suggests that one of the brothers of a militant who was inside has been hit by a bullet. Now, officials say that 3 people have been hit by the bullets and they've been shifted to hospitals. Earlier, as we reported, one woman, a civilian, was hit by the bullets and she was caught in the crossfire.
Yeah, Shuja, the question also is, of course, that we have seen that it is almost now an organized situation where messages, WhatsApp messages are sent whenever a situation of a militant being holed up at a place or he's trapped by the security forces. There are WhatsApp messages that have been traced even to Pakistan across the border, where people are sent to ensure that there is some confusion, there is stone pelting, so that they can help them escape. Now, my question to you is, of course, this seems to be an organized sort of a situation, but after this man who's responsible for the killing of SHO Firoz Dar and 5 other policemen, all Kashmiris, isn't there any, different sense on the ground? Do people not know that these men are responsible for killing, one of their own?
Well, Ankit, like I was pointing out, it is, since 2016, after the encounter that took place in which Burhan Wani was killed, this new trend has started in which, locals come out and protest at the time of the encounters, particularly because there are local boys who have joined militancy who are believed to be trapped inside those encounters. This problem has been analyzed and is being looked at from many angles. One of the reasons, of course, is the fact that a lot of local boys have, joined militancy, and one of the results of that is that they definitely have local support as well, because these local boys have their relatives on the ground, have their friends on the ground, have their sympathizers on the ground, and it becomes easier and emotional for those people to come towards the encounter site and start protesting.
But then
this wasn't seen as a trend when earlier we used to see, foreign militants being trapped. But the factor that there is a lot of local element into militancy that is joined in is making this, all the more, increasing. Now, security forces are trying various ways to ensure that casualties are lowered down. But in a situation where there are a lot of people gathering around, casualties or injuries become something, which they say is unavoidable.
Absolutely, and this is what the problem is, that one woman has already been killed in this crossfire. Others have also been injured. This is only going to increase the anger on the ground, but people will have to understand they cannot come in counter-insurgency operations. The bullets, of course, when are flying on from either side, will not wait for these protesters to disperse. We will have to leave it there. Shuja, we'll come back to you with more details as this encounter is still ongoing and more inputs are likely.